Chapter 13. Offensive Defense Con. Adam was crying and we were all asleep. Olive appeared and carried Adam, giving him his bottle, and rocking him back to sleep. She stood like this for an hour, then she put Adam down and rocked his crib herself. She figured that the automatic rocker was not in sync with Adam's body rhythm. She figured out a pattern that would make Adam relax and sleep. I found Olive standing beside Adam when I woke up. Adam woke up last night and I had to carry him and rock his crib, Olive said. Thank you, Olive. Matt is cooking breakfast, and he wants to talk to you. I went up and found Matt cooking. Are you cooking my favorite? Yes, but I am also cooking my favorite. John, last night I dreamt, or I should say my mind saw another space armada of humans near New Earth. You're saying we will be creating a second space armada? We still have more than 100 spaceships from the Laos. We can assign 50 to the second space armada. I think that would work. We need to see what's up at the other end of the pond. So same MO, the Federation will send 24 ships and the loonies we send 10 ships and the Laos 100 ships? We may have to give the 10 ships the loonies would be using. That's fine, they gave us a space station. I know what to do. I can talk to Beetle to put up some loony industry on New Earth in exchange for the 10 ships. This way the loonies in New Earth can find employment or we can have the loonies move to New Earth for employment. I believe that will work. As long as it benefits the loony population, Beetle will agree. It will be another point to our image. Imagine we invite him to join our second armada and we'll give him 10 ships so they can join in exchange for factories that will employ his people. Both instances will benefit his people. What will the loonies manufacture? Their factories will manufacture machines for factories. Matt answered and it made me think. Factories for New Earth? I clarified. Different factories for different industries in New Earth? Matt answered. Okay, let's talk to Billy. Olive, can you get us an appointment with Billy after breakfast please? Olive appeared. Yes, John. I woke Amy up and we ate breakfast together with Matt. Olive took care of Adam last night. I told my wife. She has been doing that for a while now and came out with the rocking sequence that make Adam fall asleep. Amy said. Matt told Amy about our plans. Amy said she was just going to stay at home and play with Adam. Why don't we create a third space armada? The ships are just sitting there. I asked Matt. We can only bankroll one more. If the Federation develops, we can add more TP lines and make more money for the third space armada. Actually, we can afford it with our money coming from the loonies, but I just want to be on the safe side, Matt explained. I think we should start, the cost will not be much until they leave for a mission. If we start a month later, the pressure would be greatly reduced. I said. You're right, let's add a third one. Let's just push Billy to pay for it. Matt said. It was now routine for me to kiss Adam before I leave. Matt also kisses Adam before he leaves for anything. At Billy's office at the White House. Hi guys, what's up? Sit. We were thinking of creating the second space armada and then a month later, the third space armada. I started as I sat. We will provide the US with 50 ships for the second and another 50 for the third. John will make arrangements with the loonies to provide 10 ships for the second and another 10 ships for the third. I will talk to the Laos so they can provide 100 ships for the second and another 100 ships for the third. Billy thought for a while. Stella also thought for a while. Roger was just looking at us, quiet and emotionless. Billy started, you know, Alan has been extremely successful. He has aligned with a huge empire and gained a lot of friends. We will basically use the people in the existing 100 ships deployed in the quadrants, and just get new people in training. Roger added. We devised a practical joke on the loonies and we'll end up creating factories on New Earth and Olympus. I said. Then I explained the con to the three. I think this loony practical joke is becoming SOP, Sherry said. I think it's doable. Okay, I agree. Roger, can you make it dramatic this time? I don't think I can, Roger said. By the way, the loonies were visited by the TAMs and the Federation leaders about certain concerns about security. Beetle felt threatened but he kept his cool and pretended to understand their concerns that the loonies are not concerned about their security. The council basically told Beetle that the Federation may not be able to help the loonies if ever they were attacked by an outsider. I was in their capital planet when this happened, Sherry said. That means Beetle will be more agreeable than not, I said. Exactly, Stella said. But don't push your luck. I want to make them feel that we are there in their time of need. We'll just position the second armada near our outpost and the third near New Earth, I said. I think that will work, Matt agreed. We have to move fast then, Billy said. Yes sir, I will round up the commanders and assign them, Roger said. The ships are parked near Jupiter, I can move them near the space station when we assign them to the commanders, Matt said. A week later at the space station. We had our assignment meeting in one of the large restaurants that overlooks Earth. Roger started. Mr. President, Madam Secretary, Matt, John, Amy, and Tina, I would like to introduce our second and third Space Armada commanders. He gestured with his hand and all the commanders stood. Half of the commanders were wearing the blue Federation Armada uniform while the other half wore the white Armada uniform. Roger continued, I would like to introduce General Ellie Nolan and Admiral Arlo Murphy, the second and third Space Armada commanders. The two were sitting at the middle of the first row of chairs. They stood and walked to Roger. Ellie was wearing the white Armada uniform while Arlo was wearing the blue Federation uniform. Billy and Matt stood and walked on the right side of the stage where a table full of tablet and Armada uniform unit was neatly arranged. Then the list of 102 ship names appeared on Roger's side of the stage. Let's start with the first name on the list. Victory. The first commander on the right-most part of the seated commanders stood. He walked towards the right, went up 2 steps and saluted in front of Billy. Matt gave Billy a tablet and uniform unit and he gave it to the officer. He saluted again and walked towards Roger's side where he saluted the 3, then went back to his seat. This went on for 100 people. Roger walked the 2 commanders nearer to Billy's and Matt gave them their tablet and Armada uniform unit. Then the 2 stood at the middle of the stage. Roger and Billy saluted the 2 and all the people in the chairs stood and saluted the 2. Then the 2 put on their uniforms and their uniform turned into the newly designed black Armada uniform with their names on it. The rest of their people followed and the white and blue became all black. I later found out that Chris redesigned the uniforms and to differentiate the 2 armadas, she put a stripe of green for the second and blue for the third underneath their names. Then we had a reception at the far end of the restaurant. This time delegates from the Federation countries were present. Chris and Mo appeared as well. We were seated with the new commanders with Billy on my right and Amy on my left. Tina switched chairs with Arlo and sat beside Ellie. I like the new uniform. Matt started looking at Chris. Thanks, Matt. Where do you get these uniforms, by the way? Ellie asked Chris. Mo made them, Chris said. They are really impossible to make. We do not know of any other alien who can do this. The uniforms are solid energy made to look like something or someone. It's like as thin as hair, but no other form of energy can change it. Plasma or anything kinetic energy cannot change or affect it. It's like a truck driving into a steel wall, Matt explained. Mo added, actually, I created the first samples based on Chris' design, and when Chris and I decided on the final design we gave it to Olive. Olive then related the design to the officers and their bodies and created the specific small uniform units using my ship. Who's Olive? Arlo asked. She's our AI. All the servers here are Olive, Matt said. The servers are actually solid energy bodies that appear as something, like your armor, but inside is pure energy. They are all controlled by Olive using Mo's ship, Matt explained. My assistant is an Olive as well as Stella's and Roger's. They are very handy, Billy said. Your ships were modified by Mo to have your own AI. Your ship carries all the information from all the other ships in the Armada. They can communicate to each other and with central command like a hive mind. The only way for you to separate from your ships is when you die or the ship gets destroyed. Your ship will protect you and your men from all threats like a mother would wherever you are, within range of course. I explained this time. Matt, is it true that all these ships came from you? Arlo asked. From the 3 of us? Matt pointed to me and Amy. Mo got most of them for us. An alien species gave 200 to us but with Mo's insistence added 500 more. I said. So Mo, you're an alien? What do you call your species? Arlo asked. You would know me since I sometimes appear as Super Smoothie. Our species is what Matt calls the riots. Mo answered. Why do you insist on secrecy? Ellie asked. To make sure that the humans will not be seen as a threat. That they will always underestimate us. So that we will always win. That we will continue to prosper for millions of years, Matt answered. In battle, the first order of the day is to know who your enemy is. So how will you battle an enemy you don't know? I said. Your tablets have the information on Alan's Armada and his adventures. Study them and see how he dealt with the issues in secret. Also, the adventure is continuing, so make sure you get updates on whatever he is doing, Billy said. What I want to do is expand the capabilities of the Armada Council to formally include a science group for our weapons development and a defense group to create defensive strategies for Earth, its colonies, and its allies like the Loonies. You two would be members of the defensive strategy group, Roger said. I agree. I see that weapons development has no central strategic center. They are literally all over the place. But that's not the issue. The issue is that we have to produce things we need, but what happens is that we overproduce things we do not need or we need less of, Stella said. For example, the Olympus team created this plasma bombs and mines, plasma swords, remote rotary Gatling guns, remote star slicers, EMP bomb varieties, and spy drones. All are ready to manufacture. Roger added. Let me talk to Beetle about those, I said. About a month later at Ellie's mission room, I was with Matt, Stella, Roger, Beetle, Goma and Arlo and we talked on the Looney defensive plans. Ellie stood. Arlo and I have come out with 3 defensive plans. The first one is your feel-good plan. A map of the Looney planets in 10 solar systems appeared. The planets appeared as light points. We will assign 2 ships per planet. The function of these 2 ships is to control all the RPCs, the attack drones, the EMP mines and plasma mines all over the place. As you can see, the planets form a long line rather than a bunched-up ball. The defensive line is a tube. The tube basically engulfs this line of planets. This tube will have 5 defensive lines. The first would be our RPCs, then the plasma mines, then the EMP mines, then nearer the planets would be our drones. A 5th defensive system will be put in place. There will be several routes the enemy could use to attack your planets through this tube and we will line this with our RPC and drones. This is the reason why we request to shift the production to these defensive systems. Ellie explained. The second defensive plan is for the 2nd Space Armada to investigate this area while Arlo with the 3rd Space Armada will move along this area and recon for threats. This is to familiarize our armada with the area. Ellie continued. The 3rd defensive plan is to prep the enemy. I will prep the SAMs while Arlo will prep their minions, the TAMs. We will tag all that need to be tagged. We will leave scan drones near their planets, RPC in far orbit, invisible mine deployment ships scattered all around, and several communication relays in ships near planets, all invisible. Ellie said and nodded at Arlo. The whole exercise will take 6 months. As you can see, our demand for these weapon systems is huge to put into these defensive plans. This is the reason why John conveyed to you earlier our need to rationalize the production of the things we need. He also conveyed to you our need for your people to be trained as taggers and infiltrators. We need 5 million loonies. We relied on the infiltration jobs to the Laos and we were able to convince them to provide us with more than 2 million infiltrators and 200 ships. Arlo started. Training is very important, and we draw on Alan's experience. We remodeled our training programs based on uncertainties in the field. But we also studied the SAMs and TAMs systems and devised an efficient way to hack them. We also have divided their home worlds into grids and came out with deployment parameters for each grid. And we need more than the numbers I mentioned. In other words, the operations will take longer since we do not have the numbers. Arlo continued. Finally, we will be doing this in utmost secrecy. The Laos demand secrecy. We do not want people to know that humans or Laos are helping you. In fact, all our infiltrators and taggers will appear as loonies whenever we are visible, which may be rare. Never admit somebody is helping you. Just tell them your people and your advanced AI are doing these things. Arlo concluded. Beetle spoke slowly. Your AI Robert gave me and Goma tablets yesterday that explained these things you and Arlo spoke about, and I understand what you two are saying. I also realized that I have always depended on John and Matt to tell us what to manufacture using their own money. I also know that Matt and John's money is almost gone because of us. That we have not really spent any sizable amount for our own defense. So, the Council voted to provide you with a defense budget of $400 trillion equivalent in DOMA, of course. I know that you will just turn around and create industries for my people. So, the Council decided that half should be used to build industries in your colony planets to create these defensive weapons. He paused and I found my opening and started slow. Beetle, I think you and your Council misunderstand. I don't think you are seeing the big picture here. The budget of $400 trillion is good for defensive weapons and colony development. But I want you and your whole population to make ships. Ships that are larger than your largest space station. Ships that their presence alone will make people think they can never win over you. This is called deterrence. You create an image so people can see you as invincible. You play this practical joke on all your enemies. And you will be laughing at them for all of eternity, I explained. Beetle was taken aback. Ellie and Arlo were quietly observing the con unfold. Yes, Goma shouted excitedly. To support this idea, the $200 trillion allocated for the human colonies will be used to create industries that will feed parts and material for the ships you will be building. These factories will create machines for the factories in the colony and your factories in the loony planets to build the ships. But I would insist that we use mostly loony workforce in all colony industries we put up, Matt added. Beetle became emotional and almost crying. I had to stop myself from laughing out loud. Matt Mine told me to stop shaking. I understand and I will talk to the Council about these things. It will be the greatest practical joke we can ever do, Beetle said. I agree, great leader, Goma said. Beetle stood quietly looking sad and in pain. Frankly, I don't understand why he should be sad when he is pulling the greatest practical joke their species can ever do to other species. We all left Ellie's ship and went to have steaks for lunch at an Aussie restaurant in Olympus. The owner recognized Matt and I, so he approached us and introduced himself. "Hi mate, I'm Arnold," he said with clearly a German accent. Maybe he's Austrian like the famous bodybuilder who almost became president. He guided us to a conference room so we can have some privacy. The view was breathtaking. The room has a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking a valley and a waterfall at the end of a river winding diagonally through the valley full of colorful trees. It was not privacy that he wanted us to have but a view. This is the problem when you teleport into a place you do not see around. Matt and I ordered 2 steaks each. Stella and Roger, 3 steaks each, while Ellie and Arlo ordered single steaks each. We also ordered several wines and a bottle of cognac. "You guys don't hold back," I told Stella and Roger. "I was impressed with the con," Ellie started. "You have no idea. Just know that all the money we got was products of some con we cooked up. It's practically SOP, Stella said. Matt laughed. "That's not even the full con. When we start the industries in the colonies, we will double or even triple the transfer price of the ship parts to the main loony planet where the ships will be built," Matt said, "and this way the colonies will make more money." Earlier we realized that we can't afford to put up the third armada. We also calculated that revenues from the TP lines were not enough. So, we devised a con where we gave them 10 ships for the second and 10 ships for the third armada in exchange for factories to be built on New Earth worth $40 trillion. We got the money already and we plan to use half of which for the armada expenses for the next 3 months. The other half we started to use to start off the factories but at a limited scale. But since we will be getting $200 trillion, we will just use that money for armada upkeep, I said. "Now the loonies will see you as gods who have come down from heaven to save them from evil," Arlo said. "That was not our intention," Matt said, laughing. "All we ever want is to ensure the human race will survive in the galaxies. And thrive for millions of years," I said. "Imagine this," Matt started. "As our armadas go around, we help galaxies, some empires like Alan did, some small planets, save people from slavery or oppression, and we tell them never to mention the human race. We have other aliens front for us. For centuries, nobody will even mention us. But those we helped will know us. After a while, the humans become a fable, a story, a legend. A small green and blue planet that nobody ever knows about but nobody will dare cross. Because they owe us. Because we helped them in their time of need. The Butts will be forever loyal to the humans, for example, and prevent any species to even cross us. Crossing us would be impossible if these aliens are already part of the armada. In the end we live in peace and all our colonies will never be crossed or attacked. Our traders and diplomats will be seen favorably by the Butts Empire. And nobody would know why. Not even the humans. But armada people do. Think of it like a practical joke," Roger said. "Well said, Roger, well said," Stella agreed. Stella looked at me and Matt. "Guys, I want to talk to you about something." Matt and I became quiet. As you know, Alan got about 4,000 very large ships from the Butts sub-emperors. He actually got more, but we will only use the biggest ships. I realized we need a separate entity that will manage the TP system, separate from armada operations. Since you control the TP production and invisibility technology, I would suggest you also take over the TP system and how it would be developed. "I understand," Matt started. "Our original idea was for the armada to benefit from the revenues the TP system generates. Earlier we thought of creating a non-profit out of Olympus that will manage the whole TP lines. Any new ships the armada will bring into the system will be turned over to the non-profit. Our Earth non-profit gets 5% based on our treaties. The TP non-profit in Olympus will get 10% right off the top of the revenues for its operations, and the rest goes to the armada fund. Of course, after renovation, upgrade, and repair costs. Now I realized that the Butts would be the perfect workers for the TP line development. They are strong and work long hours, numerous and dependable. Add the fact that they would be loyal workers for the armada," Matt explained. "There will be more ships. The SAM's big ships are generally bigger than twice our biggest ship. They will definitely be TP ship material. So, if they go and attack the loonies, we will have the excuse to take their ships and turn them into TP ships." "Matt, how many ships?" I asked. "We can get 6,000 of their biggest ships," Matt answered. "Add about 2,000 from the TAMs. I will ask Tina to get the point person to do this. Unless you guys have somebody in mind from the military," I said. "I actually have somebody in mind. He will be retiring from the Air Force. I used to work with him in Germany," Ellie said. "Call the guy and have him contact me or Tina," Matt said. "Tell him we pay well, extremely well, with travel benefits," I said, and Ellie smiled. "Another thing. Alan told us that the Butts Emperor Bidig will be coming over again clandestinely. He wants to establish cultural exchanges, joint science and research projects, military exchanges, and commercial relations. We will be meeting the guy in 3 days at Billy's office at the space station. He will be bringing in a lot of business leaders, scientists, and some of his loyal commanders. They have seen our war machinery. I will bring them to Olympus to show them how our scientists and engineers, together with the loonies, create or develop new weapon systems so they can establish ties with these people. Then I will tour them around the loony weapons and ship manufacturing facilities, show the latest projects we have and later meet with the Federation commanders. Then I will tour them around the Federation ships and base in New Earth. Then Tina will tour them around Earth to see the culture and to taste the food. The whole tour will be about a week and a half. You two don't have to get involved, Stella said. Also, his eldest daughter has joined the Armada with about 100,000 men. That's the bond that has started, Stella added. We don't mind. I have a lot of things going on. And I have to be home for my son, I said. Yes, I can't be too far from my nephew, Matt said. After lunch, Matt and I went to visit the Leos. At the Crystal Space Station. We were met by Trio and Mixa at Chris' main office in her space station. Mo was there too. I apologize that I left early during your inaugural ceremony, I said after giving her a hug. She hugged Matt and sat down. You know I don't mind. He's my half-nephew and the last thing I want is to inconvenience him. Well, at least Matt stayed, Chris said. So how are the Leo artists? I turned to Trio. I think art made our society happier. Our people are growing our food and we see the artistry in the food. We have started terraforming our planet to an art form. We are still developing the machine to create our perfect food, but imperfect food is an art form, Trio said. What brings you two to our side of the pond? Mo asked. Trio, do you remember that you asked me to look for your colonies? I had a dream and I saw that one of your 3 planet colonies, the biggest one, about 800 MLY from here, will be hit by an errant meteor in 30 days. A huge meteor moving about 500,000 miles away will be hit by another meteor a quarter its size, and this will turn the larger meteor towards your planet. It will happen very quickly and your people will not be able to react quickly. You need to send ships there and take them out and move them to the smallest planet in the colony. Is there a way for you to communicate with the people there? Matt asked. No. We do not even know where they are, Trio said. I know where they are, Matt said. Olive created a star map and Matt pointed out the star system. This star system in this galaxy is where the colony is located. Trio, Mixa, why don't we go there now using my ship? We can be there in 6 hours. Tell some of your people to come with us. We can leave in an hour, Mo said. You're not going to come with us? Trio asked. Sorry, I have a son to attend to, I said. I have a nephew to attend to, Matt said. Why don't I come with you? I miss my nephew already, Chris said. I would suggest you move 15,000 of your ships towards that planet. They can get there in 8 days, Matt said. And bring a lot of good food. Mixa, stay here and go with the ships. Then leave immediately, Trio said. And Matt, we can't find the riots in the other dimensions. I think they are all lost, Trio added. You want the other colony to have their own riots? Matt said. Yes, if you can ask Super Smoothie to come and be their project lead, my people will be very grateful, Trio suggested. Okay, let's see what I can do, Matt said, and we bid goodbye. Chris later told me what Mo related to her. When they arrived at the main planet, the colony population was much bigger than Trio's. Apparently, they were part of the first wave of backup colonies sent out to preserve their species. The problem was that they have less ships, like half of what Trio has. But their dimension travels were more advanced. They have 12 dimension portals and they go in and out routinely to the colony on the other side. Because they have 12 portals, they can go to 12 different dimensions. The next day, right after breakfast, Matt, Amy, and I went to the planet where Matt met his riot friends. We found them standing around several huge rocks. I found out that these rocks, arranged like the Stonehenge, but hundreds of them, are actually receptors so they can transfer their experiences to the collective. Matt called his friend Woody because his energy looks like the bark of a tree. Woody, hey, come over here, Matt called. Woody approached Matt and, Matt, how are you? Who are your friends? You remember my twin Amy and this is my friend John, Amy's husband? Matt said. Woody waved his energy hands and we waved back. Hey Woody, I need to bring some of your people to a place where you might get killed. Really, let me call my friends? Woody said, and more than a dozen riots moved behind Woody. Hey, I know you, you're Tripper and you're Dummy, Matt said. The two nodded. Their names are actually very long so I just gave them names, Matt whispered to me. That is so you Matt? I said. Anyway, we met this alien species that has several dimension portals. But they want to study one of you because they wanted to be like you, energy beings? What do you mean dimension portals? Woody asked. Surprised, a riot does not know this? You can go into an entirely different dimension. Each of you can go to 12 different dimensions. What happened to the earlier riots you brought with you? One is in Earth working as a superhero, one is being studied by this alien but in a colony near Earth. The other 4 went through the dimension portal in the colony near Earth, and we have no way to find them. And they have not returned, not one of them. Promising. Okay, I'm in, Woody said. I want to go, Tripper said. Me also, Dummy said. Then all shouted their intention to go, like a mob. Bring your ships to Earth and I will bring you all to this alien so you can go through the dimension portals. One of you must sub with the one working on Earth and one of you will have to stay to be studied. You must agree who will be left behind on Earth and on the colony to be studied. How many are you, by the way? Woody looked around. I counted 21 of us. Okay, we will see you near Earth. The riots arrived in 21 ships and parked near the space station. As agreed, Dummy substituted Ani to work as Super Smoothie on Earth. Matt and I rode with Woody and we were in the Leo planet in 7 hours. Along the way, we explained the Leo problem and Woody presented an interesting solution. He explained that 20 riots can create a deflector field along the probable path of the meteor. And if that does not work, they can make the whole planet invisible. It's a large planet, I argued. There are 21 of us. More than what we need to make the planet invisible, Woody explained. You will just think it? I asked. Yes, when we arrive, we will just make the whole planet invisible, Woody said. How? I asked. We will make the planet invisible by making it out of phase with matter. It's not going out of phase by a large margin but by a tiny bit, and this is enough to make it invisible. The meteor will go right through and will not get any resistance because there is no normal matter to resist it. Don't worry about this, we've done this before, Woody said. Just the same, I will tell the Leos to move through their dimension portals to the other side. Sure, after we create the deflector field and make the planet invisible, we will go with them through the portals. Matt, you just need to tell us the path of the meteor, Woody said. After 2 hours in the flight, we realized that it was evening on Earth and our body clock told us to sleep, and that's exactly what we did. We woke up and went downside to meet with Klahman, Trio and Mo. When the riots went down, they were all surprised. While Mo and the riots were standing quietly for their data transfers, Matt explained to Klahman what we were planning to do. Matt opened a star map of the area and, this is the point where the meteor will be hit. This is the path it will take to hit your planet. The riots will put a deflector field in this area. This will deflect the meteor to move towards this area here. Let's just wait for the riots to finish and we will ask them to turn the whole planet invisible, I said. The riots explained their plan to put a deflector field where the meteor will pass to hit the planet. Then, as added precaution, they will turn the whole planet invisible. Trio explained that they have the technology back in their home world to turn a whole planet invisible, but they do not have it here, and even if they have it, the power required to do this is extremely large, they could not possibly do it. Klahman and Trio were surprised that we brought 21 riots when they were only expecting 1. I explained to them that these guys wanted to go through their dimension portals but 1 will remain so they can study how to be like them. Also, Mo explained the training he had instituted in Trio's colony and planned to have the riot do it here. Then he mentioned art. Klahman could not understand at first and it took a while for Trio to explain. They agreed to send Leos from Klahman's colony to Trio's to look at this art.